Today I'll be going over "O Come Little Child" from Suzuki Book 1. I'll be going over different techniques and different ways to really look at this piece and to practice it to really get the rhythm and the notes under your hand. So now let's analyze the piece. Before playing, it's in 2/4, so that means there's 2 beats in each measure. So there's 2 quarter notes, so the quarter note gets the beat. So you want to be thinking 1, 2, 1, 2. It's an andante, so it's a walking pace. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And now the rhythm is quarter and eighth notes. So you want to think 1, 2, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and you want to have that going in your head, that subdivision. Now right at the beginning you have that pickup, which is a and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. Now a pickup is basically a part of a measure taken from the last measure of a piece. So if you look at the last measure of the piece, notice how it's a dotted quarter rather than a half note having 2 beats. So basically, it takes a partial note from that measure and puts it to the beginning of the piece as a pickup to lead into the beginning. So you want to also look at the key signature as well. It has 2 sharps, which means D major. So you're going to have F sharp and C sharp as your sharps. And so you want to be thinking 1, 3, 4, open, 1, 3, 4. So it's always good to practice this scale right before. So if you look at the rhythm, it goes 1, 2, and. So you want to practice that with the scale. Also try to shift it around going 2 and 1, 2 and, instead of starting it with the 1, 2 and. So go. And now practicing the short, long, or 1 and 2 is going to help practice the pickups as well. So now, after you get warmed up with the scale with that rhythm as well, you can start looking at the piece. I'll play it from the top. Excuse me. So, also important things to look at the dynamic it starts at. It starts at a mezzo forte, so don't go in too strong. You want to go at a nice medium. And remember, it wants you to, for the first three-ish or 2.5 measures, it wants you to keep your 3 down on your D string, because that's the only fingered note that there is. The other note would be A, but you don't have to put any fingers down on the A string. So it's a good habit to practice keeping your fingers down so you don't have to lose that position, and it keeps you better in tune. So for instance, notice how I didn't move my finger at all, just kept the 3 down. And also want you to do that going through measure 6 through 7, or excuse me, measure 4 through 7. Continuing forward, measure 9, it wants you to do a terrace dynamic. So basically each measure you're getting slightly louder. Think of it as a pyramid. So you're starting really quiet, doom, 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 doom. That all the way till you get measure 14 where you're at the loudest point, the climax, at a forte. So I'll demonstrate that right now. Now after measure 14, when you go to 15, 16, it has a decrescendo, or decrescendo. So you just slowly get quieter and quieter, and want to end like on a mezzo forte. Now another important thing to realize is right at the end, make sure you're counting the 3. 1, 2, 3, because it's a dotted quarter now. And also remember on measure 12, it's up, up, and then measure 8, it's up, up, and then measure 4, it's up, up. So you can really get that that pickup going. And a good way to practice those measures, because it has an interesting rhythm. So it goes 1 and 1, so it has an 8th note rest. So you can just practice by putting in another note there. So doing this, for instance, measure 4, adding in another A on that 8th rest. Sorry. And then after you get used to that 1, 2, and take out that 8th note, the first 8th note, and go. Think of that rest as like a little breath. Ba, 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 or just keep counting that subdivision in your head. 1, 1, and 1, 1, and 1. Now, same thing with measure 8 and measure 12. Other than that, the notes are pretty simple. It just goes 1. There's nothing too crazy, no crazy shiftings or anything, or string crossings. Now I'll play it one more time from the top, and to help solidify the aspects I was going over. Oh, come little child. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a text, an email, or go ahead and shoot a comment. Thank you. Have a nice day.